Hello, and welcome to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past review.
Bum, 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 bum. Jay was waiting for this forever. You should have seen him. He actually didn't let me play it. I kept asking, can I please play it? Can I please play it? I need to review it. We need to review it. And he was like, no, no. You have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. And I still, to this day, have not been allowed to play it.
Here.
This right now is the first time that I'm actually playing it. That's what you guys are seeing. Ooh.
Also, I'm not wearing my glasses because a lot of people are like, we can't see you beautiful eyes.
I want to look deep into your eyes. What is this about? This is a prequel, sequel?
This is actually, they're calling it kind of a sequel, remake, kind of in some sort of way. Basically what they've done is taken the world from A Link to the Past, which is years old, 20 years now I think, and they've taken it and put a new story on top of it. I think it's about 60 years into the future, and it's, for me personally, because Link to the Past is my favorite game, this was like nostalgia treats.
Yeah, he was like a little boy. He was so excited the whole time. Alright, so what is the plot? Are you saving her again? What's happening?
The thing, well, you're saving Hyrule, and you're actually saving another land, and that's what is really the big deal about this game. There's no Dark World like the original Link to the Past. There's something called Lorule, and everything in that world is basically flipped upside down. So there's another princess. I don't want to give too much away. I hate in reviews hearing everything, but there's another princess in Lorule, and she's in charge of the kingdom over there, and she accidentally lets one of these characters escape who has a power that lets him put people into paintings. And that's where this game gets insane. So he's in Hyrule with this magic power, and he's after the sages again to put them into paintings, and he's going to use that power to unlock Ganon. So he can actually go through cracks that are in the world. And Link, he runs into this character named Ravio. And Ravio gives him a bracelet. Bracelets?
Bracelets? He gives you a bracelet.
Gives him a bracelet, and
gives
this
him
bracelet,
jewelry? That's
yeah.
nice.
But the bracelet smells horrible. And Link's like, I don't want to wear this. And he's like, trust me, wear it. And there's a reason you need to wear that. It allows you to go into the wall as a painting. It's insane.
Oh, I heard about this. You can
Yes.
go flat. Very cool.
So that's the new sort of like, people are calling it a gimmick, but it really isn't a gimmick because in some of the previous games, some of the bosses were involved in that whole painting scheme of things, of like turning into a painting and escaping. That's been in past games, but now it's to like the forefront.
So you press a button and he turns into a drawing on the wall and goes
Yeah, you basically merge to all of the walls. Anywhere that you can go up to the wall, you can merge into it.
Are you also able to hide from bad guys when you do that?
Absolutely. So some of the boss battles require you, for instance, there's a giant hand that comes down and bashes you on the ground and then punches you. And what you do is you wait until it like steams up, and then you merge into the wall at the last second. It hits the wall and gets all like dazed, and then you're like, you hit him.
Boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom! I hit you.
So that's the new sort of, they're calling it a gimmick. A lot of people don't, I don't know, they feel like it was like tossed on. But
I think
the
it's
more,
cool. It's a new thing, right?
No, the more you play it, it's such a big part of the game and some of the puzzles in the dungeon. These dungeons, by the way, are the best dungeons in a Legend of Zelda game ever.
Does it feel like the old dungeons, or
It
it's
feels
old
like,
and new?
well, there's another thing I'm going to get to. New dungeons, obviously, but they're in the same place they were in A Link to the Past, but they're all redesigned because it's 60 years later.
Right.
So the idea is that it's 60 years of time, so things have changed and things have moved, but it's also this nostalgia feeling because you've been in that dungeon before, but you're like, wait a minute, and they play with that. They're like, well, we know that he knows that was there, so let's play a little trick with him. And then it involves the merging into the walls of painting, and you put that on top of how difficult some of the dungeons are. It's ridiculous. Everyone will want to know this. What are the dungeons like? What are the weapons like? So
Yeah, the weapons. There's like a hammer, and there's some kind of sleeve. Like when I just played it right there was some.
that's a hook shot. This is the thing about the game that's changed, and this is what I want to talk about the most, and then I'll get to my score. This here is a Zelda game like you've never played before, because it's all based on the fact that Ravio comes to town at the beginning and allows you to rent your items out or buy them. And I'm talking about all of the items. Not all right away, but eventually you can buy all of the items from him. So people are gonna say, well, what do you mean, what do you get in the dungeon? Well, now in the dungeons, you get gear instead of items, and you get a lot of rubies. And those rubies are used to actually purchase the items, And the reason you want to purchase them is because you can't level them up. It's crazy. You can't level them up unless you own them. So some are $800, some are 500 rupees, some are rupees, some are 500, some are 800 rupees, and you have to go out there and grind in Hyrule Field, or you just go to the dungeons and beat bosses and you get like a rupee worth 300. It's insane. So the idea is this: in the beginning you can rent them, but when you die, a little fairy guy comes and picks them up and brings them back to your house, and he's like, "Come rent them again." Because you don't own them.
Right.
So it changes how Zelda is played completely.
Yeah.
So when you're in a dungeon and you need the hook shot and you die in that dungeon, guess what? You have to go all the way back to your house to get it. And people are going to be like, oh.
Is that really annoying?
No, they've totally fixed that too. You get a little bell at the beginning. So when you come across a save point, you ring, actually it's like a little bird save point. You click it. It saves, and then with the bell, you just ring it, and a bird comes and brings you to all the locations.
Okay.
So yes, you do have to leave the dungeon after you've died if you need that weapon, but it changes the way it's played. It's more like an RPG than ever.
Okay.
Then on top of it, the witch is back, and she actually has all these potions that you can just go and buy, and then it involves the bottles. And if you've played a Zelda game, you know all this stuff already.
Yeah.
You have to get a bottle to catch the bee, and then you can actually get this bee master to turn the bees against the enemies. So when you like hit a bush and a bee pops out, it'll fight the enemies instead of you. There's all tons of things in this. Then as the game progresses and you get into low rule, that's when the game really shows you how much of an RPG it is, because when you kill an enemy, he drops like an organ part and it's slimy and gushy, and you collect those and bring them to the witch. She makes potions, which make you invisible, level up, stronger, all sorts of things. You can. Then there's ore that you find in the dungeons that allow you to bring it to the blacksmith and then upgrade your sword. I can keep going, but the bottom line here is the story's there. It's not a gimmick. It's the best Zelda game since I played
It sounds
that one.
like very complex. Like it has lots of different little attributes to it, lots of interesting things to it.
Yes.
My question is, how is it on the 2DS? How is it with those two screens? Is it amazing? Super
So with
useful?
the 2DS, I think the 2DS, which we've never really talked about on the show, but this is my personal favorite version of the Game Boy, or sorry, the 3DS. The 2DS, it fits so great in my hands. Switching, there's an easy switch tool that unlocks kind of like a third into the game that allows you to just go boop boop and put a new weapon on, and lets you scroll and pick the weapon. So when you're in a dungeon, all of a sudden you need the hook shot, you don't have to go in the menu anymore. So obviously that's a huge...
Yeah, so the touch screen is key.
Yeah.
What is your overall score? I mean, obviously you loved it.
It's a 10 out of 10.
All right, 10 out of 10. Not a single thing you would change.
No, there's nothing, it plays out perfectly. Like, there's nothing in this game that you sit back and go, I just wish they did that. You just get thrown into the world. And this is another thing, there's no hand-holding in this game. They don't tell you, like, go here, go here. What they do now is, you know, on the system, you collect points by walking around in the daytime. They're play coins. In the game itself, if you want a hint, you actually get this hint glass that reveals ghosts. And they're all around the town. And if you want to talk to one of those ghosts for a hint to do something next, you have to spend one of those play coins. So it literally means that if you have 0 play coins, you have to go out and walk around or fake it and get a play coin just to get a hint.
Really?
Yeah, so it's almost like Nintendo being like, don't be lazy, play the game properly, or go for a walk. 10 out of 10. It's a system seller. If you like Zelda, you buy the system for it. It's that simple. And anybody that's like, oh, he's a Nintendo fanboy, whatever, I don't care. It's a 10 out of 10. If it had any flaws, I would tell you, I'd be honest. Like I just got this, a Zelda tattoo. It's hard to see. I'm a huge Zelda fan, but also I have a review show and it's my duty to be like, hey, this is crap. There's nothing. There really is nothing.
And I'm hoping that now that Jay has reviewed it, that maybe I'll get to play it.
Sure.
Yay!
Oh,
oh.
I gotta get some more items. Though.
No!
Look, you can do this too. You can pick up rocks and then you
Throw
kind.
them.
Look at that. There's a rupee. Like our Facebook page. Oh, I got hit. Like our Facebook page.
Follow us on Twitter.
And follow us on Twitter. That's all we ask now. That's it. That way, when a new video goes up, you know when it's out. Bye.
Thanks.